evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of New Britain Board of Education to order. It's June 5th at 6:05 p.m. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Marino, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deja, if you could please call the roll.
I have Ms. Gail Sanders-Conley,
Present.
Mr. Merrill Gay, Mr. Joseph Lustro,
Here.
Mr. Anthony Kane with the C,
Yo.
Ms. Martha Dawkins, Mr. Anthony Kane with the K,
Here.
Ms. Barbara Marino,
Here.
Ms. Annie Parker,
Here.
Ms. Diana Reyes, here, and Ms. Tina Santana.
Right here. Ms. Dawkins and Mr. Gare both excused. If we could just have a moment of meditation. Thank you. We'll move on to public participation. We have one person signed up, Mr. John Board.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Madam President, members of the board. The yearly Pride Resolution is in front of you. I think it's no surprise why I'm here. Hopefully y'all will be willing to support it as you did previously. It's the second year that we are doing this resolution. The President, Mr. Listro, and Ms. Santana were all involved in crafting it this year, so it's great to have bipartisan input from members of this board, and hopefully we can continue the good work that we're doing under the Superintendent's DEI Advisory Commission, and making recommendations to you that benefit all of the community. So once again, I want to thank you for your support and hopeful passage of this resolution. Thanks.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the board? Second time, is there anybody else who would like to address the board? Third and final time, is there anyone else who would like to address the board? One more? All right, thank you. So committee reports. Start with curriculum.
Yes, we met, we took a look at and had a presentation of 3 science courses at the high school that were piloted, I believe, maybe a year or two ago, but are currently being taught. So very thorough, very informative.
Awesome, thank you. And policy, I know that they met. There's 4 new policies on the consent agenda. Proposed flag, raffles and bazaars, contract approvals, and student discipline code. Did I miss anything for anybody who's on policies? No?
There were 2 other policies that were discussed that remain at the committee level at this time.
Oh, finance. Oh, that was me.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was absent that meeting.
That was me. You'll actually see a lot of items on the consent and under new business, but my favorite to talk about are when we accept grants. And we're accepting $50,000 for from the Fund of Greater Hartford for the 3-week See and Create summer program. I don't want to miss anybody. There was another one from the Pettit Foundation for $10,000 to create for the Create summer program. And I thought there was one more.
I think there's one on new business tonight, which is also a donation.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yep.
So personnel.
In personnel, we had a couple of MOUs for local 871 and local 51. New position for being students, assistant coordinator of school culture, and communication assistant. And that's it.
Thank you. Are there any board reports?
A couple things. I know a few of us were able to check out Chamberlain, which came out just amazing. It was absolutely beautiful, and it was nice to see some of the neighborhood kids that came in to check out the school. They were so excited, and I even saw some former students who went there and were pretty jealous. my daughter included, was very jealous of it. Also, Mr. Kane and I both went to the top 10% dinner for the students, so it was really good to see so many kids receive so many honors. They were amazing. And I also attended Pulaski's concert, and as always, they did such a great job. Their garage band is really, really great. They were so good. I was so proud of them.
Very cool. Thank you. Mr. King.
Yeah, I was able to attend a few concerts as well, including New Britain High's band concert, orchestra, and a couple of small choral groups. That was excellent. The parade, we were well represented by all the middle school bands, high school band, and then went to the house concert as well, which was same thing. They have a guitar group, and the band, the guitar group, the chorus, probably the best middle school concert I've ever been to. So, excellent.
Can I just, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep.
I had the honor of attending the award ceremony for seniors, scholarship awards, and it's just incredible to see the number of scholarships awarded, the amount of money contributed by different organizations and families in New Britain. These are scholarships that have been in our community for years, and these are scholarships that are new. They're just formed over the past year or two. So seeing that kind of support from the community was great, and all the students and their excitement moving forward. I also wanted to mention we had our last wellness committee meeting last week. Our wellness committee has met at 4 different schools. We meet with students as well as staff and the Whitson's team, and the students were eating the lunches that are served in the school that day. The students are able to provide their feedback. We last met at De Loretto, and as you see in the past few months, and as you see tonight with all the media around school meals and school food, a lot of that has to do with the recommendations that are coming right from our families and our students. And the wellness committee meetings are when our Whitson's team gets to hear that feedback. So that's been working out really well this year. And finally, just want to give a shout out to the Smalley team over at Smalley Elementary School. We were involved with a big project, which was to install a beehive, an observation beehive, in the STEAM classroom at Smalley. So the bees made it to the school last week. It's 10,000 bees already producing.
How do you know there weren't any straggler bees?
It's an estimate.
You know, like,
It's about 10,000 bees.
I just want to know.
No, he sat and counted every single one.
Yeah, we.
1 bee. 2 bees. 3 bees.
I mean, we are the beehive. We got to know where our guys go.
So the bees are safely installed in a hive.
Sure.
The ones that showed up.
And they're actively producing honey. The kids were really excited. The school hosted an assembly for them. There are staff there that do know beekeeping. They keep their own hives at home. And the school does work with a licensed beekeeper. And the Rotary Club donated money for a pollinator garden to make sure those bees are comfortable and have enough food to survive the year ahead.
Part of their social and emotional learning. Welcome to the district.
That's awesome. Thank you. Ms. Santana.
You know what, my part was both school and community, and I want to just say thank you to everyone that took time to stop by and speak at 3 key events that I was present for. One was Celebrate New Britain, which was a wonderful opportunity for the kids to just jump around, go crazy, have fun, and get all together, and it was just great. Shaking hands, I was giving out kites, and it was just fun. The Memorial Day Parade, which sure enough, I had a whole bunch of people that, we were just conversing between elementary, middle school, and high school, and it was just wonderful to hear positive contact, and it was just great. And then last but not least, yesterday's Polish Festival, which was the 10th anniversary. So anytime you see that there is something going on in New Britain, please attend. It's free, and I love just shaking hands. I'm a hugger. Everybody knows that. So we were hugging it out and just having a wonderful time. So I just want to say thank you, because it gave us a wonderful opportunity to just connect with the community, all of you. So come out, say hi, and let us know and then come back over here and speak during public participation, which I always ask people to do. All right, well, thank you.
Anybody else? The only thing I have is one plug for all-night graduation party. I know they are still looking for people to volunteer. It's a good time. I stay all night. It's a long day, but it is so much fun to watch those kids go from super excited to like halfway asleep at the end. And then if you stay for when they do the hypnotist, oh, it's hysterical. I'll always have video. But that is it. Student reps, Ms. Bukowski.
Yes.
Oh.
As long as you don't knock over my coffee, I'm okay.
There you go.
Which coffee?
You got slack.
Yeah, I know. The one good. Was it my phone? Apps. If you don't know my name now, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I know, right?
I think we'll figure out who cares.
All right. I mean, it's the end of the year. There's a lot going on, of course. Student community, a lot of senior trips, which I guess has boosted a lot of morale in the senior class. I've been a little busy to attend them. As a couple of you have seen, I've been working at Big Y. You guys shop at Big Y. All right, like I've noticed throughout the year that just about each month we've had a club host a large event at the school. For example, we had like the AAC club host like a pep rally, which is really great. The yearbook club with like their snowball dance, Taste of Ramadan, and now we have the Pride Festival, which was another huge thing. Like all these bring a lot of students together. It's like really surprising the turnout. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen any other like school events all my other years, but these seem very successful. And if you guys want to raise, well, not you guys, but if the students want to raise school spirit, that's a great way to do it. And I think we should definitely continue to encourage this in the coming years. We've got a lot of good seniors here now. I hope the underclassmen can keep it up. Another thing I wanted to point out, I'm pulling this out of the district updates. Our school musical, we got nominated for a lot of awards. We won one. That was Malin Valdivizio. She did a really good job on the choreography for the musical. If you saw it, that might have been the most interesting part of it. Well, not the well, it was really good. Well, I also wanted to bring up, for us, Olivia, Youssef, and I, next year's student reps, I haven't really seen Miss Major much. I haven't really seen much about it. I would not hesitate to bring it up to her, and that would need to be done very swiftly. We'd have to have a certain sort of criteria that can, because it might be a little too late to have the same sort of student participation that we had last year. So there should be some criteria. I think that we could like nominate people, but that might introduce some sort of bias. Yeah, that's just my thought on that. I mean, I'd like to encourage in the coming years with what I can do, with whatever I can do. And I guess that's it for me. I'm a little busy.
Okay, adding on to what Tomas said, the school spirit has been great this year. I think especially after the 2 COVID years we had, almost, our freshman year got cut off. We really didn't get much of high school. So seeing such like community within the school this year, most of us haven't been in the same school for a solid year together. And it was really great just seeing everyone get together for all these different events. Even if you weren't a part of a club or a certain group, you still went to it and supported your friends, which was really nice. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, the senior trips, we had 6 Flags last week. Camp Chase was today, and the prom was last weekend. All great events, super fun. The girls tennis team and boys tennis team went to states. The girls got it to the second round, and we got knocked out there, but we fought so hard, and I'm so proud of all the girls. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the girls next year, seeing how well they bond and really build together as a team. We have had a lot of cord ceremonies within the past week, 2 weeks. I went to the Art National Honor Society at the New Britain Museum of Art, which was a very nice ceremony, followed by an exhibit of all the artwork from all grades. So seeing art from the entire district was nice to see, all the upcoming artists who will potentially be at the high school soon. I did see from the wellness meeting that we had a couple months ago, the water station at New Britain High School in the cafeteria. Haven't tried it yet, but I did see it, so that's thumbs up on that. And like Mrs. Tina said, the Polish Festival yesterday, super fun. It's a great way to connect community. I got reconnected with a lot of my Polish friends who I haven't seen in years, So great community this year. It was really nice to see everyone. That's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And speaking of student reps and continuing, we have a small token of our appreciation because we really appreciate you guys participating with us because we know how busy you are, right? And giving us feedback that is really what it's needed, and we appreciate it. And it just shows that you're willing to involve, and you know what we call it, get in good trouble, right? Because you can say what you need to say when you're here with us. So obviously Miss Rios, she designed these and picked these out. It's not me, and Dr. Gasper. So we appreciate you. And we have, if you see Joseph, or should we hold on to it for him?
Perfect. We trust you.
Perfect. I know. These will get you ready for either if you're going to, college or tech school, to work, whichever you need.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Sure.
Maybe you could open it. Open what? Sorry. Hang on, all three. I know. A little portfolio. I think you're good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great talking to you.
And I will definitely reach out to Ms. Major too, because you're right, we have a policy that goes with the student rep, so that's a good point. All right, so now we have CAPS Award nominations.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening, on behalf of the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents and Mr. Pierce, the principal of New Britain High School, it's my pleasure to recognize two outstanding students. So I'd like to have the following students come up, and perhaps you could stand in front of the podium over here. I'd like to have Karina Diaz-Doran and David Lugo please come forward. Maybe stand right there in front of the podium would be a perfect spot. Right over there. While I read a long introduction about you and hopefully not be too embarrassing. Karina Diaz-Doran has taken up the task of working with Fidelco to support the development of seeing eye dogs for the visually impaired. Taking them in as puppies, Karina raises them for 18 months, providing basic training and acclimation. In order to accomplish this task, she has had to navigate a myriad of barriers, such as ensuring the proper detail insurance policies for bringing a service animal in training into a school. In the course of her work, Karina has inspired other adults to engage in similar training, including one of her teachers. And all of this activity is in service to others, people whom Karina may never meet. Thank you, Karina. And David Lugo is a student who's, excuse me, is a student who's concerned with student climate issues for all kids. This year, David has been leading the charge in the high school for adopting an anonymous digital platform for students to use in the reporting of instances of bullying. In the pursuit of this work, David has arranged for multiple meetings with the principal and other staff members to investigate and vet this free digital platform for the high school. Once a platform has been identified, David will then be leading the charge in communicating this tool to the students and staff of our high school. Like Karina, David does all of this work in service to other students whom he may never meet. Thank you, David.
Have them come up and.
Where's a good spot for a photo? Right over here?
Ryan's taking the picture and the dog's like.
I know.
I always want to reach out and pet them, but I know I can't.
No, I know.
All right, so now we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a different kind of superintendent's report tonight. What I would like to begin with is a couple of nominations. We'll have another nomination later in the agenda tonight. But what I'd like to present to you for her new role, Ms. Velasquez, will you help me with this introduction of Dr. Maya Molina in her new role? Please.
We're very pleased that Dr. Maya Molina has been selected to be our new coordinator for multilingual department. Of course, she's been working in the capacity of assistant coordinator in that department and has been doing an amazing job, especially bringing back our dual language program. So we're very pleased that she has agreed and that we have selected her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, board members, for being here tonight. I'm so honored to serve in this position, and thanks to all the leadership and sort of collaboration with Wanda Likwar, who I've known for since I was hired back in 1996. So it's a great pleasure to be back serving with her in this wonderful department. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with parents, teachers, and students. From 12th grade, where we honored all of the students who won their cords for the Seal of Biliteracy, to the middle school students who are demonstrating leadership capacity in Latinos in Action, all the way to all of the multiple students that we have in our K-5 schools who are showing mastery in English language proficiency that we see every day. So thank you for having me, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Thank you. Ms. Velasquez, would you like to present Ms. Stewart?
Absolutely. Miss Lily Stewart has been working in the area of reading in Middletown, and we are very, very pleased to have attracted her to join us as the new coordinator for ELA for all K through 12. She is, of course, stepping into a position in an area where we have been doing a lot of work. And so there was a thorough vetting. We had a lot of folks who really wanted to speak to her about her ideas about reading and asking her to jump in and, of course, hit the ground running. And we think we have a fabulous candidate in her, or now a coordinator. So please come up. Thank you.
Whatever you'd like.
So, good evening, members of the board. I'm humbled to have been selected as the coordinator of ELA for New Britain Schools. I come with varied experiences as an MTSS supervisor and a director of English Language Arts pre-K through 12. I'm excited to be able to work under the leadership of Dr. Gasper, Mrs. Velasquez, Mrs. Denegre, and Mr. Richardson. It is an awesome opportunity to be able to help support the district in reaching our goals this year. Finally, I am honored to serve the students, family, and staff of New Britain. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
So continuing my report, Madam President, as usual, you have an advanced copy of the district dispatch in front of you with our volleyball team featured on the cover. And it's easy to become accustomed to just the awesome look and feel and the way this publication is presented. As always, thanks to Ms. Langer, Mr. Figat, the communications team, Ms. Nasir, who does the translations to Arabic for us, and everybody who contributes content. Really, for me, I would say personally, just this document has become a point of pride. And as I mention it to people, they say, "Oh yeah, I saw that. It looks really good." So, this will be our last edition for the year, I believe. Ms. Langer, is that correct?
We'll have a special summer surprise in the middle of summer.
A summer surprise. I love it. I love it.
This is our last regular issue.
Thank you. The other piece of my report to you tonight is this binder. It should only take me about an hour and a half to read it to you tonight, but I won't do that. So what you have before you is the superintendent's self-reflection. I'm asking that the board consider this when you do my performance evaluation later in the summer. I must say it's been a very quick year, having already served as your superintendent for nearly a full year already. So what I've attempted to do for you is, and I'm just going to take you through the layout of the document, is of course you've got a basic introduction, you've got a table of contents, a letter of thanks from me to the board, and then if you went to, for example, tab 4, you'll see this is kind of a pattern that will repeat as you read the document. So what I've done is use my Essential 10 as the format of the document. So each of the Essential 10 has a cover sheet such as this, where I introduce this element of the Essential 10, list some accomplishments to date, list work yet to be done, and then give you a quick description of some artifacts behind each one. So for example, for team, you've got some examples of administrator's learning plan. You have some rubric for professional conversations, some documents that we've used in our Principals Council, which was a kind of a new introduction to our administrative work this year. So I definitely will not take the time to read all of this to you. You have closer to the back, I would say that it is tab 14, are some other things that are outside of the Essential 10. For example, what we've discussed tonight are increased focus on communications. Also, as Mr. Listro explained, some of our work on the food that is available to our students. Tab 15, the board is already familiar with. We are showing some early signs of academic improvement. You have that data in tab 15. In tab 16 is just some examples of my attempt to connect with and advocate for the community of New Britain in my first year. So I'd ask that the board consider this document as you get ready to do my performance evaluation later this summer. And that's my report for tonight, Madam President.
Thank you so much. More reading for Mrs. Marino. But before we go on, I actually wanted to, during my report, I actually wanted to introduce Mrs. Marino and welcome her to the board. I don't know if you want to tell us your background. I know you're newly retired, so she's enjoying reading everything.
I'm enjoying reading. Yes, I read my library card and I don't know why, because I've had more reading like this than anything. even in my 40 some odd years at Edna. So this is fun. This is fun. Yes, lived in the city 40 years, raised 4 kids here, all went through the school system here. Always attended way back in the day when my kids were younger in elementary school, the Board of Ed meetings, got involved. Got a little hectic as the kids got a little older kind of thing, so kind of stepped back, got more involved with helping out with the football teams and the feeding the boys and the girls softball, that kind of thing. So now I'm retired and have some time on my hands other than watching 5 grandkids. But this is, I'm very honored, I'm very humbled and glad to be here, and hopefully I can contribute, being the parent, the mother, the grandmother, and the senior too in the group. So
just more experience.
Thank you very much. People have been very welcoming and very helpful. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I apologize for not doing it during my.
Oh no, that's perfectly okay. I was hoping you were going to finish.
All right, so item 3, the resolution. Is there a motion to approve the Board of Education resolution declaring June 2023 as Pride Month?
So moved.
Second.
Would you like to read the resolution?
Sure. Yep. Pride Month is a time to celebrate the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community while remembering the struggle and sacrifices made by the advocates and allies who worked and continue working to create a more inclusive society. Despite state law banning discrimination, harassment, and intimidation towards LGBTQ+ people, inequities including homelessness, poverty, mental health issues, and substance abuse continue to persist among our youngest and most vulnerable youth. Our city has started to lead the way in collaborating with other municipal pride organizations and nonprofits to establish a working group with the State Department of Education to develop a model curriculum inclusive of LGBTQ+ studies, and the Superintendent's Office established a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Council to ensure community voices are heard when it comes to board policy. By recognizing Pride Month, we reaffirm our commitment to support other policies, practices, and curricula that honor and respect LGBTQ+ students, staff, their families, and all people in our community, including a commitment to review and consider board policy specific to transgender and gender nonconforming students. The Consolidated School District of New Britain commits to ensuring equitable access, equal treatment, and full inclusion of all people regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity. The New Britain Board of Education designates June 2023 as Pride Month to inspire equity, create alliances, and celebrate diversity.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. All right, so I would like a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters pertaining to attorney-client privilege with the full board, Mary Ellen Manning and Dr. Sanders.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're back. To go back into executive session.
Wait, don't we have the motion to close the
No,
last one?
because you can't.
We're done.
We're in executive.
session.
Right, to
Second.
discuss a matter relating to school security. I would like Tyrone
moved.
Richardson, Mark Spalding, the full board, Dr. Gasper.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So we are back for a minute, and I will entertain a motion to go into executive session and possible public action to appoint principal for De Loretto School with the full board. Evie Velasquez, Tyrone Richardson, Dario Soto.
Dario Soto,
Chicken scratch.
my fault. My handwriting.
But we will bring him or her
Dario Soto.
after we go into executive session, then
Okay.
come back.
I'll come out for you, Mr. Soto.
So full board. All right, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we are back. Dr. Gasper.
So, Madam President, it's my pleasure to recommend a motion to the board that the board appoint Mr. Dario Soto as the next principal of De Loretto School.
Do we have a motion?
I wholeheartedly make that motion.
Do you- Okay. Let's go. All those, is there any discussion? Do you want to welcome Mr. Soto? Have him say a few words? After we vote him, but
Let's make it official first.
make it official. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. Just have a few words. I know it's running late. Primero, me gustaría darle las gracias a Dios, a mi familia y a los mentores y a todos los colegas que me han apoyado, me han empujado a este punto. Me gustaría darle las gracias al Concilio de Educación y la directiva por darme la oportunidad de ser parte del éxito que viene adelante. También me gustaría darle las gracias a todos los estudiantes, familias y la facultad de De Loretto. Es un honor y un placer servir con ustedes y servir a la familia. Y De Loretto es un lugar que aprendemos en 2 lenguajes, pero tenemos un sueño, que los estudiantes de nosotros serían los líderes del día de mañana de un futuro mejor, de que nosotros ayudamos a nuestros estudiantes a mejorar este mundo. So first and foremost, I would like to thank God my family, and those mentors and colleagues that have poured into me that have made this moment possible. I would also like to thank the board and the administration for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the future success that we will have here in New Britain. Also, I would like to thank the students, family, and faculty at De Loretto. It is an honor to serve you and to serve with you at this very proud community. I would like to close by saying De Loretto is a school that learns in 2 languages, but has one dream. The dream that our students will be the leaders of tomorrow, the leaders that will help solve the issues that face our world today and will make it a better place. Thank you.
Mike, you want a photo?
Yes, please.
You want to join us, Madam President? Maybe would like to join us?
Keep a wax on, it's fine, ain't nobody gonna. Yeah, exactly. No, they're $1.25.
No, yeah, that's
One more. Thank you, congratulations. Congratulations. All right. On to the next issue. Let's go. What else we got? Okay. How you gonna switch the water? You okay? How the time go? Page 2. Hold on. Page 2. Hold on. Here we go.
All right, on to new business. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular Board of Education meeting on May 8th, 2023?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion, any?
Yes. It listed me as not being there, or was at that meeting.
Double check.
Were you were a late arrival, right?
I was here.
The one when you did it on the,
That was the person. Yeah. Tomas and I had a long discussion about the Brook Street neighborhood and everything, yeah.
All right, so one,
Because they're even referenced in there as being, you make a motion and stuff.
okay. All right, any other changes, modifications?
And I saw in there too that it listed a date. Also top says April 3rd, but it's actually in May. On the very top.
Okay. All right. Anything else? It was April. This day was April 9th?
This is April 3rd, but it's in May.
Not May, thank you. All right. All those in favor with the with the changes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Assuming Mrs. Marino, you would abstain. Okay. Yeah, I know. Just because you weren't here. All right, item B. Is there a motion to accept the enrollment report?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item C, do I have a motion to accept the report of personnel transactions and extracurricular appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item D, is there a motion to accept a grant from the Fund of Greater Hartford for training and advocacy to fight chronic absenteeism in the amount of $20,000?
I move.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item E, approve the contract for, do I have a motion to approve the contract for lease of continued use of Pope John Paul School as a swing space for construction projects? The first year, $72,000, second year, $132,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
So the contract, I'm trying to find it, yeah, no. But there was something, I know there had been discussion about whether we end up, yes, we're using it for swing space for the next couple of years. Potential out there, maybe buying the space more permanently after maybe some review of the physical condition and whatever. So I was looking through for like a lease with an option to buy type thing, and I saw something about $500,000 toward sale price. For having to do with any improvements that we make up to 500,000?
I believe that is correct. The board has actually invested far more than that.
That was going to be that's my
Yeah.
question.
The board has actually invested far more than that just to keep the building operational as a school.
Yeah, okay, so we're not modifying the contract for that, to take that into consideration? I'm sorry, it's the newbie.
No, it's not. Very valid. No, I was just gonna say, that's a valid question.
I mean, because if we put in, and I want to say, I heard someone say, like over $1 million.
Around 1.5.
Right, well, 1.5.
Okay, so we're way over. And if we're gonna do, maybe even think about it, maybe, we've already invested that much, why wouldn't that apply toward the same principles? Just
Take a little bit off the top even? Well, that's a great point, actually. So I don't know who wrote the contract,
Well, I know we hadn't seen it, I don't think, when we had the finance.
We did not, right, so we just got the contract on
In
Friday.
this.
No,
Right.
the Finance and Facilities Transportation Committee had this in draft
you're right.
form for the
You're
committee.
right.
It has not changed since then, other than
Okay,
having been reviewed by Corporation Counsel.
okay, and that's what I remember hearing, is that was gonna be reviewed, okay.
So
I'm just posing.
the board certainly could choose to table this tonight.
Okay,
We would basically have to enter into negotiations. I'm not sure if the parish would accept taking 1.5 million off the top of a purchase price.
I guess it just, as far as all of that goes, and I know we were even, hesitant as far as even whether to do a permanent purchase or whatever for the swing space.
Yeah, so it's probably premature to,
But this is a 2-year contract, it's going
Correct.
into 2025, right? This
correct.
is, right?
So I don't know if a purchase of the property is within the realm of possibility, within the term of this contract.
Gotcha.
Again, if the board chooses to table it tonight, we certainly could do that. But, and again, that purchase would not be made by the board, that would be a purchase made by the city.
Correct.
Because even though the board manages all of the buildings, they're owned by each municipality.
Well, and that'd be the other point, in other words, if the city's doing the purchase, but yet we've limited to a $500,000 cap on the, versus $1.5 million that we've already put into it, I just bring the question up,
No, it's, as others have said, it's certainly a very valid question. At this point, I don't anticipate a purchase within the term of this 2-year contract.
Okay.
Hold on, Santana. Yeah. I just recall, only because this is going to be the third school swing space that we use it for, right? So this is gonna be number 3.
Yeah.
And I can recall that while we were still in bed with the last round, like right between, before they started Chamberlain, the discussion at that time was that any of these lease agreements and such, yes, would go to corporate counsel, but as a courtesy would also go to school board committee. Did that happen?
Not
Was
for
that
the
something?
lease, not for the lease.
I'm gonna have to
I
go
don't
back
think
and
they
look.
wouldn't get the lease
You mean
agreement.
school building committee?
Yes.
So this would not be under the
committee.
purview of the school building committee.
And then the
So it's
other
not,
part.
it's not a construction project.
No, and I completely understand that, because we had ended up, what it opened up was a whole discussion on what was being bonded and what was actually under their purview. It was really more just as a courtesy. But the other part of it was that we were looking at it when we were getting ready to buy the boilers that were such a high-ticket item, that we were going to actually find out if there was some way of getting that. I'm saying what her question is now, we had already brought up before as a board.
Right.
Just
I think that's a great point, and we can, and I would entertain a motion to table.
Make a motion to table.
Okay.
Second that motion.
All right, so item E, I mean, and we can bring it back when we do the special meeting for the budget, we can add it as an item.
Right, so
if-
this is, if the board grants summer authority tonight, this is not a contract I would be comfortable signing under summer authority.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, when we do our budget workshop, we do have a special meeting for a budget workshop, we could add this as an action item, and maybe it's a conversation with the attorney.
I'm not sure if I'll have an answer for you by the 13th, because
No, it will go, yeah.
this will basically have to enter into negotiations with the parish.
Correct.
You might also
Yeah.
want to look into D too, because I remember when you were.
Into what? I'm sorry?
The deed.
Because I remember when they were talking about closing and they were discussing possible uses, and what there was found out there was a very restrictive covenants in the deed that could only be used for certain purposes.
So I want to be clear, I'm not proposing purchasing this property this evening.
Right.
Correct. You know, you made that clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so item E is tabled. Item F, is there a motion to approve contract and purchase order for 140 Production Court Freezer Project in the amount of $2,554,102?
Wait a minute, you do have that on your agenda.
I do.
So that's not on mine. Okay.
What do you have for F? Yeah, so G. You maybe have an old one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the contract and purchase order for 140 Production Court Freezer Project, $2,554,000?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Kane?
Just, I'm not on facilities, so, you know,
Yep.
forgive any discussion
Forgive
you had
us.
there that I missed. I understand from conversation in the past that we couldn't use money to improve the space, so these units we'd be able to move in the future to
Yep.
another location if
Yeah.
that ever came to.
Just for clarity, we're not allowed to, the federal funds can't be used to improve the resale value of someone else's property. So, yes, it is a modular install. We're not anticipating moving them, because to move them is, and just to install them is a very big project, but, yeah, and as the board probably remembers, this is in lieu of the original plan, which was to turn the facility into a kitchen. We discovered many infrastructure issues with doing that, so we believe this approach will be good for New Britain's kids, because it'll lower the cost of acquiring the food staples, frozen, refrigerated, and dry storage. By lowering the cost, it's gonna let Whitson's buy even higher quality ingredients, fresher ingredients, because they'll be buying them at commodity scale rather than basically cutting out the middleman.
Your pepperoni
So
won't be brown.
Whitson is expecting approximately 8% savings, and we can turn that right around into higher food quality.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right,
Thank you, Mr. Smedley.
item G, approve summer.
Oh, you were up
authority.
there. I didn't even realize that.
So what I don't have, and I apologize, I meant to send it earlier, but I had
What am I
quite
missing?
the
This is the other
day. Could you refresh my memory of what summer authority is? There was a certain.
Could I?
Yes,
I've been here,
I know.
I know. Well, he hasn't been here a summer, is what he's saying, no.
Right, because summer authority in the past, and I'm looking for like the past members, it was up to a certain amount. There was like, the summer authority is literally up to a certain amount. I think it was 65,000 to hire teachers to do contracts, right? There was no like,
65.
there's no adding new positions, there's.
Is it, yeah, but,
I didn't
my
think it
question
was-
was, is it written somewhere? Is it-
Right, and that's
is
what I was
that, and
looking for.
What are the steps in the?
Yeah, and it's not, and I thought we had a policy that was,
It wasn't a policy associated with it because we seemed to almost like the bar moved.
no,
Is
it
that
was
good?
the summer authority of, and I could not
We
find
didn't do
it.
it last year.
We did not do it last year because Dr. Gasper was new. And without fully understanding what summer authority is, I don't
And
know.
the year before that was COVID, so we kind of suspended stuff. Nobody was running on
Yep.
No, we did.
So there's no
It wasn't
rules
in
or
the
written
I don't
summer.
remember.
I thought it was 7,500.
It was
7,500.
7,500.
7,500 is the current That's his level of authority, and I want to say it was 65,000, but I don't have a recommendation of what it should be.
Well, let me ask this right, is you anticipate exceeding $65,000, what do you think? So it wouldn't really pertain to hiring, because that's currently under my purview. Anyway, you get the
Right, over the
update.
max, right? Isn't there's a max that you, no, maybe not.
No, basically,
Yeah.
it's school principals come before the board, everybody else is
It's just contracts.
hired by the superintendent.
You're right.
So, all right, I guess I would ask Ms. Alfano, do you have recollection of the degree to which summer authority was granted for purchasing or contract approvals?
So, you would have the authority to approve purchases that exceed $7,500, the hiring recommendations, and allow us to close out the complete year-end over the summer, allow us to close out and do our final entries or transfers. And everything that is done under summer authority would then be provided in summary to the board.
Right, I do remember that.
Was there a threshold, as the board president was saying, a max amount?
Yeah.
I believe what we did is we had that $68,000 limit was for new teachers. Is this been it? Okay.
Oh, thank you. That's not, it wasn't under policy, was it?
It was sent separately.
Yes, so it would authorize the superintendent to approve purchase orders in excess of the $7,500 and to waive bids when it's the best interest of the district to do so. And it is to close out the accounts over the summer and to do our final entries for year end.
And what did Mr. Prokop show you there? Minutes?
It is, and there's a memo, I was looking for it, and that's what I was trying to find, is the memo that was submitted for that. But these are the two.
Summer authority report right over here.
Where? Is it, it's not in the side file, right? Isn't it, no?
No.
I'll send you what I got. June 8th, 2021, what do you have?
Is it in the packet?
No, it was a separate, I'm gonna send it to you now.
No, it's either
No, they're looking at previous
emails.
minutes.
Okay, previous minutes.
July of 2 years ago.
Oh.
Dale.
Yep.
Right here.
And
I am
there
going
were
on my
some-
phone.
Some that were up to 150,000.
I'm sorry. No, that's how I was like, hold on a second. I'm like running around. No, it's because this thing is broken, so he gave me this. But I just remember because we had gone back and forth. First it was like, how much do you need to close out the COVID thing? So that's why they set it a little bit higher than they had in the past, but it was because the accounts for COVID were significantly higher.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the list from Summer Authority. This is the list of everything.
But that's what she was giving us. And then, hold on, stand by. We're gonna keep going back because I came in.
So I found a memo.
What's the
and
date on yours?
It has the previous fiscal year to authorize the superintendent to approve the closeout of the accounts and any transfers. And then it would be for the 23-24 year to authorize the superintendent to approve purchase orders in excess of the $7,500 and to waive bids in the best interest of the district. And then it would authorize the superintendent to designate the chief financial officer to act on behalf of the board when appropriate. Those are the three items that are on the memo.
So. Could you forward that to me? Just so I could read it again, and then we could discuss it. I apologize. I thought there was gonna be something in the side file, and I had a day. I apologize. Would make makes sense that it's not a policy because it wasn't, if it didn't exist last year, it wouldn't be in our policies. Procedurally, while she forwards that, can we move to consent and then come back? I don't know.
Procedurally, you would just need to table it and then come back to it later.
I'll make a motion to table just for a few.
Second.
Thank you. Alright, so and then we could go, that way we can move on and we can, because I have a bunch of stuff to pull off the agenda, of course I do. So consent agenda, is there anybody who would like to pull anything off the consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to pull off G and H.
Which one? G and H?
Yes, 2 new positions.
All right, and I would like to pull off A, B, C, and D. So we're gonna pull off A, B, C, D, G, and H. Anything else? All right. So the consent agenda would be 2 pieces of paper, E, F, and then I through V. Anybody else? Okay, so like a motion to review and approve policies P 6115.3, proposed flag policy.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I would actually like to motion this for a second read. I don't know how other members are feeling. I don't sit on policy. I do listen on policy, but I know anybody else. Mr. Kane?
So Madam Chair, one clarification I'd request from the board on item A is an effective date of this policy. If passed, when would this policy become effective?
That's a good point.
As of this meeting?
As of this
That's what I'm
meeting.
requesting, is
Yeah,
clarification.
I would say as of this meeting.
I would think immediately.
Right. I mean, if members are comfortable with passing the flag policy tonight, we don't have to do a second read. Totally up to you.
Well, do we need to put a motion in there for the effective time?
Today. Oh, you mean time like?
Yeah, does it have to be actually written in your effective on this date, or?
I was
We
under
don't
the
usually
assumption
do
that
that.
passed.
Yeah, when we pass policies, it's like
Okay, so it's automatic.
Right, when we pass the policy, it is effective.
Same as when you're hired or get appointed.
All right. So I will. It is. It starts on page
51.
52.
Yeah, so I mean, we can. All right.
Just wanted to refresh on what it was.
Online. This one.
So what you thinking? I mean, I'm gonna go by what you guys, we have, second reading, or do you guys feel comfortable enough to approve it tonight? If we approve it tonight, it becomes effective 6/5/2023.
Can you refresh our memory on that a little bit about?
I mean, I could read, there's a draft, this was part of my own, right? So there's the regulation and then there's a draft of the policy. I'm assuming this is the policy we want to put in. It's policy 6115.3. It says, it is the policy of the Board of Education Board to correctly honor the flags of the United States, the state of Connecticut, POW-MIA recognition, the city of New Britain, board approved flags representing a school operated by the board, and the flags of other governmental entities, and ensure a standard of flag display on district property. The American flag should always be present when others are flying. The board shall comply with national and state protocols for flag display and etiquette. In addition to the above referenced flags, the United States territorial and state sister city. The foreign national flags may also be displayed outside of a school building on the day of a visit from an elected official or delegation to that school. Inside of school buildings, United States territorial and state flags, sister city flags, as well as flags of foreign nations and ethnic flags such as the Pan American flag may be displayed on a permanent or temporary basis in accordance with proper flag etiquette. These displays are to be educational in nature as well as to recognize the diversity of our city's heritage, history, and student body.
Okay.
This came from Cape, right?
This came from CABE. It was reviewed by our attorneys, the policy committee, DEI.
We started looking at this back in September, so
yeah,
it's been on the policy committee 4 times, I believe, in front of us.
I think so. Okay.
So just, my reason for asking for clarification on an effective date is, just to be perfectly practical, is the pride flag was raised across the street here today. It's been raised at the high school. If no effective date is specified and this policy is passed tonight, the pride flag would not fly at the school tomorrow, nor going forward.
If it's not passed.
If it is passed tonight.
If it is passed.
The pride flag is not included in one of the listed flags here.
And you don't have time to notify the staff not to put it up?
Ms. Gonzalez is here.
But it is going to continue to fly over here downtown, and this is just going to be in effect for everything else going forward, just like we would if we were putting in the policy for anything else.
Well, I'm just saying, obviously, we're not governed by what the city chooses to fly here, but
Correct.
the flag was raised at the school, and just being perfectly practical here. An example that's,
For a second read.
Yeah.
so the flag would not continue to fly at the high school beginning tomorrow morning.
So I guess it's gonna be the reading then.
So if we go to second read, we would bring it back, depending on summer authority, in the July or August meeting, and it can be effective August, whatever that August meeting is.
So let me ask, so we are adopting just what they sent us. We didn't add anything to it or take anything away?
No, it's been worked on.
Yeah.
It's been worked on for
Yeah,
sure.
they had
So,
several.
and do you all decide not to put pride in, or it didn't come up? Is it was,
It was discussed, and there were several versions that CABE had as recommendations. And in discussion in policy meetings, we looked at a position of neutrality because of other flags that could be requested to be raised that could be.
So if the pride flag is flown, then other flags that may be offensive or discriminatory in nature can be also flown.
Or requested.
Equal
but if you
opportunity.
said specifically pride, then that won't include any other flag, they will have, I'm asking because I don't,
Well, there was a lawsuit that the city of Boston lost at the Supreme Court level, and it was a unanimous decision. And one of the reasons they lost was because they were allowing certain flags to be flown, but when it was requested a Christian flag be flown, they denied that flag be flown, and they lost the case because of that.
And I think some of the concern was, like, will someone be able to fly a Nazi flag? And I think that's why we were trying to go with like the CABE's version, but you know, it's difficult. It's difficult because I know I was one who wanted to still allow at least the pride flag at our schools. But then you wonder like what other people are gonna bring up, and is it gonna be something that's going to be very disturbing or
if other people
controversial?
bring it up, though, it still has to come before the policy committee, you still have the same
No.
power that you have now, no?
No, what he's saying is based on the lawsuit, that if you were to say include pride flag, for example, in there, and another group wanted to put their flag like up and then we denied it, they can come back and potentially sue us for being discriminatory.
But what's that stop?
Keep it right now to pretty much governmental flags, you're limiting to the type of flags that can go up there, and you're saving yourself a potential lawsuit for denying somebody a flag.
So what's to prevent this from coming up again for some other kind of flag?
By not making it about the flag,
Because-
by making it about celebrating the student and the student body without the area of contention was the flag in that particular lawsuit. But it really gave us an opportunity to learn and to reflect. By allowing one, we have to allow all.
If it's representing the students, we have students that are.
Absolutely.
that,
We also
so
have students that are Jewish.
include-
We also have students that are Muslim. We
Right,
also have
right.
students.
Absolutely.
So you
has
know,
nothing-
sorry, here's what I would like to do. I want to actually make a motion to table this policy.
Yes,
And then we will
please.
bring it back at another time. All right, so item B, do you mind if we go through consent and then we'll go back?
Of course.
So item B, approve a policy for 3280, .10, raffles, bazaars, etc. Has everybody had time, or would you prefer to motion this for a second read? This, I think, was relatively simple. It points out how raffles and bazaars need to be run according to state law.
I'm surprised we don't already have that.
I think
I'm sorry?
Surprised we didn't already have this.
it's an addendum to 3280.
Yeah.
So we can do a second read, but I was pretty confident in how it read. And I don't know if anybody else had a chance to read it. It's how it should be. All right, so make a motion to approve policy 3280.10, raffles, bazaars.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alright, so item C, may I have is there a motion or a motion to table the policy 3320.00, contract approvals? This one is, the board policy for contract approval. It says all contracts for goods or services in the amount of $7,500 or greater shall require board approval, shall require the signature of the board president in order for the execution of the contract to be valid. The board, and the addition is, I think we struck out which.
So the change here was a recommendation from me. So currently the superintendent has the authority to approve a purchase order up to $7,500, but not a contract. So the board has seen many quite small contracts for a guest speaker who is $1,200 to come to
Right.
Slade School. To me, it just seems logical that if the superintendent has the authority to approve $7,500 worth of a purchase order, it seems like an omission that I should be able to sign on your behalf for very small contracts as well.
So we can either motion for a second read, or we can motion to
Move to approve.
move to approve, okay.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
It does sound like an oversight.
Any abstentions? Yeah. All right, so item D, is there a motion, or would you like to motion for a second read to approve policy 5131, student discipline code?
The major change here, or perhaps just a minor change, was to update the policy to reflect current practice about expulsion hearings. As currently written, the board policy says that that student and their parent would come before a panel of the board. The edits here just update that to current practice of come before a hearing officer.
So, okay, for approval, or, all right. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Item G, is there a motion to approve new position request for 1 FTE Dean of Students? Need a motion? I need a second. Thank you. Discussion?
I'm objecting to, right now, when we're looking at the possibility, we haven't heard the mayor's budget or council's budget yet, and the chances of being significantly cut are really high. And as a result of those cuts and ESSER funds running out, we're making a lot of elimination of positions. I feel right now that creating positions right now is not the most prudent thing to do. So I'm objecting to both the two new positions that are coming for us.
Right now, we'll only speak to the one dean. I know I voiced my opinion. I understand this is a grant-funded position, so it's really not necessarily about what may or may not happen after the council takes action on Wednesday. I will say for me, and I don't know if Mr. Richardson is still here, I know I can't talk about the second item, but deans to me are extremely, I should say extremely, they focus on punitive, and in the next position, we're trying to bring in the school culture. I would like to see a different position than a dean, because I get the need for the position. I just don't like the punitive nature of a dean, so that's my 2 cents. I don't know if anybody else has any.
They're not gonna feed into one another? I mean, I understand the titles are a tad different, but I thought the other position was going to be watching over these people.
They should be, yes. And unless they're gonna change the role, like the job description of a dean, because currently they're still reporting to the building admin, correct?
That is correct. We are not proposing a change in that, and this is an additional dean. The school currently has
They have
one.
one.
This is the proposed to just add to that capacity.
And this is for next school year, correct?
Correct, and it's
Yeah.
funded under the school improvement grant from the state.
Yeah. So that's, that's my struggle too, is it's paid for by a grant. I just,
Well, my understanding too is if the other position is approved, that person is supposed to be bringing in some techniques and supervision, and she's going to oversee whatever's going on with the deans. I know they report to the principal, but when we talked about it, we said that they would be working in conjunction. So, and I know when they gave up the dean at Slade, they made that person, I know the language for what the technique they're using.
right, the culture climate.
Yeah, so if this is money that they feel is going to help them, to help with that, then maybe we can have some kind of provision about the fact that it has to be more centered on change of behavior than punishment, doing it another way.
We're not looking to create a new job description. This is an additional person under an existing job description.
Right. But you do still have say over how the techniques that they're using, I hope, so.
Right, so this goes to in the beginning when you first came on, right? So now this dean would actually report to the admins. In the job description for the assistant coordinator of school culture, they have, their primary function builds capacity in admins, deans, and behavior support. So there's like that indirect line. So maybe the job description gets tweaked in the future for this position.
Because we were looking for consistency.
Right.
And that was one of the things that they said, we get this person so they can all be on the same page. So whoever this person is that you hire, whatever that person comes up with, then that's what they're supposed to be following. So it may not be punitive.
Right, well, so they don't have that, I don't want to speak because I'm not at the school, but I know they have deans at Pulaski. Slade has the climate culture specialist, so I can't speak to the operating of a school. It's a personal, my thought process on how we are handling our kids, right? The punitive, it's not working, right? We saw that in expulsions, but anyway. So, any other discussion on the dean position at Pulaski? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, because, yeah. All right, yeah.
Ms. Gail Sanders Conley.
Oh.
You mean start with-
I'm a yes.
You knew you were going first.
I know, and I asked for it.
Or start with you?
I'm a yes, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Joseph Listrom?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony Kane with the C?
No.
Mr. Anthony Kane with the K?
Yes.
Ms. Barbara Marino?
Yes.
Ms. Annie Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Diana Reyes?
Yes.
And Ms. Tina Santana?
I'm gonna trust the process.
Is that a yes?
Is that a yes or no?
Yes, no abstaining, no. Yeah.
I don't wanna kick myself in the butt later on, because I'm just
Abstaining.
No, I like to vote, I'm gonna say yes, and then with Hawkeyes, we watch the parking lot with like this.
All right, so item H. Is there a motion to approve new position request for one FTE Assistant Coordinator of School Culture, PK through 12?
So moved.
Second.
And I'm gonna speak just my 2 cents. If anybody else has anything else they would like to say. Here's my, I will always support personnel. I have a really hard time supporting administrators, right? But in this case, we need the culture, right? We need to bring in some kind of climate culture, so I will support this one. But it's hard for me, right? Because I believe in support personnel over administrator, so. And that's no offense to any administrators that are here.
You mean most of the people in the room?
Right, most of the people that are in the room. I just, we've had recent success, and I know part of me feels like it's the supports that we've had in place for, like, all the paras, all the TSAs, all the BSAs, and we're gonna lose half of them in this next budget year, and I'm afraid of what's going to happen. So I think we need the culture person to come in and help with culture. So I'll get off my soapbox and stop talking. Anybody else?
It comes down to me a feeling of, in about a week or so, we're gonna be looking at cutting every line item to come up with the $6 million or more cuts. And I feel right now, any new positions, we should hold off at this time. While I feel this position might be warranted, I just feel right now adding any full-time employees right now is gonna actually make our jobs harder. And I see this as more of a want than a need right now.
I very respectfully disagree with that. You made it very clear to me when you interviewed me for this job how much of a concern school culture was, student conduct was. Thus, my support when these two positions were brought forward to me, my support for them, because I believe I'm carrying out the board's wishes.
Yeah.
Additionally, as I clarified at the Personnel Committee, my intent of implementing this position is to be net zero FTE. So there are openings in the administrative ranks at central office. There are positions that I would not fill, so as to fill this one with a net zero.
Can I Mr. King, hold on, Mr. King.
Actually, you just hit upon what I was going to speak to, which is ultimately the decision of which positions to fund is your recommendation with the help of your team, and we would have to then vote to accept or reject the recommendation. So in effect, it actually makes his job more of a challenge to say, if this is the shortfall, this is what we need to cut to get to, what we've been funded. I have faith that if this is what Dr. Gasper says at this moment that the district needs, that I think he's, the results that we've seen this year, I think we owe him that support.
Yeah, it's, and it really is, I do apologize, because we do have to trust the process, right?
How come I use the phrase and
I know, but that's like, to your point, I'll give you a nickel on the way out, I'll buy you a coffee.
So Madam President, I apologize for interrupting, but I'm also quite happy to agree to, we have a short time until we will know our budget. It certainly makes sense that we would not do a hiring such as this until that budget is approved by the board. So that's only 2 or 3 weeks that I would need to wait. But no, again, if my plan is carried out and this is not funded, that would be a reduction to our capacity, which I believe is not good for kids.
Right.
And I just want to make one statement. We go through this budget thing every year, every time. And if we hire based on what is going to happen with the budget, we wouldn't have any staff. That's just the way it's been ever since I've been here. We have to face this. So if we hold our decision up based on what they're doing over there, then we're not doing what's best for the kids.
You had me at net zero FTE.
What'd you say?
You had me at net zero FTE.
Speaking of true
So I'm
budget
not
person.
coming forward with
Right.
an additional monetary request. Right, so that was not part of my budget proposal to this board.
Because it is funded from the SIG grant, right? It's not, the other position is not.
The dean is.
The dean is.
The
this
assistant
one
coordinator is local.
Net zero.
So you're basically taking a position that we have in another
Repurposing
department
it.
and then
Correct.
changing it. That part,
Yep.
net zero, I could tolerate.
Yeah.
Right.
Just made it more palatable for you.
More paddling, right. So, all right.
That's worth it. You had me at net zero FTE. Yeah.
All right, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, any abstentions? All right, motion carries. All right, so if we could take off the table, summer authority, I need a motion to
Move
take
to
it off the table. Thank you.
Second.
And if it's okay with you, I will read to you and then forward again, and I'll read it as many times as you need. So summer authority consists of, this is on my phone, so I apologize. Fiscal year, this would be fiscal year 2022, 2023. Authorization to close out under over expended object code balance to the medical health insurance account to fully expend the district's 2022-2023 appropriation. And then fiscal year 2022-2023, we would provide authorization in consultation with the chair of the Board of Education to award vendor bids and issue vendor purchase order in excess of the 7,500 and to waive bids when it is in the best interest of the district to do so. The second bullet is there would be authorization is requested for the superintendent to designate the chief financial officer and/or the assistant superintendent to act on behalf of the board when appropriate. The authority would be in place from today, June 5th, through September 13th, 2023. September, I'm not sure. Members of the board will receive updates throughout the summer on actions taken under this authority. May I read it again?
Yeah, just the beginning part about
Yep.
the accounts?
Yep. Gotta put my cheaters back there. This is really small.
Okay.
Yep. So authorization to close out under or over expended object code balance to the medical health insurance account to fully expend the district's 2022-2023 appropriation.
That's the 52-101 account? Is
I
that what we're
believe,
talking?
yes.
What's the balance in that now?
I have to run a report.
Okay.
You can look at that right now.
That's the internal service fund for the medical insurance? Is that the question?
It's internally, and our budget, currently, we're looking at $7 million. And at year end, once we, all our encumbrances are either paid or released, once our payroll accruals are posted, we may have a few dollars more or a few dollars less, and all of that gets swept into the insurance account.
Into the what?
Into the insurance account.
Do we, okay, because, yeah, you said 7 million, because I saw in our packets through April, that was a big account. There's a lot of money there.
So that's a rolling 3-month balance. So
Right.
we're self-insured, so we have to maintain at least 3 months of claims.
Right.
That's not what the balance is in our insurance account. That is what our local appropriation is to deposit into our insurance account.
Yes, sir.
That's our budget.
Okay. Because as far as then the other line items that are in this, then goes to speak to that 7 million? Because even for the workers' comp, the life, and again, this is as of April 30th. I was still seeing 7 million as an available balance, so.
Correct.
Okay.
Because you will pay the claims as they come in, and then at the end of the year, it gets all tallied.
Correct. So the amount that's available in that line item will get swept into our insurance account. And any other line item that may have, the salary accounts, once we post our accruals and all our salaries are paid, we may have a few dollars remaining in certain accounts. And what we do is we take those and we sweep them all into our insurance account. In order.
Back into the 52101?
No, into the insurance account that's held on the city side. That's our self-insurance fund. This is our budget for our insurance.
Okay.
The district's contribution to our insurance.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the self-insurance fund is under the district, not on the city. We don't combine them.
Well, it's not on the city's books. Correct. It is a separate account. It's on the books.
I
on the city
gotcha.
side.
You're right.
And then what was the next line after that?
Say that again?
What was
The next
after that?
line?
I'm sorry.
Hold please. So then it's for fiscal year 2022, 2023. Provide the authorization in consultation with the chair of the Board of Education to award vendor bids and issue vendor purchase order in excess of $7,500 and to waive bids when is the best interest of the district. And then, do you want the next one? So that would be, I don't know, you need to buy something for $8,000. Dr. Gaspar would give me a call and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I think is the right thing to do, and then he just does it. I don't say yes or no usually, it's just he's kind of doing it, so we know, and then at the end of the year, we get a report.
Can we tighten it up instead of at the end of the summer?
Well, it's summer authority, it goes through September.
So if he was gonna write a check for $8,000 to know about it sooner than at the end of the summer.
We could do it, I mean,
I think didn't that resolution say regular updates or something like that?
I know in the past we got updates like during the summer.
We did get updates in the summer.
Yeah, the board will receive updates throughout the summer. I mean, it could be part of your weekly update, it could be once in July, once in August.
Well, right now you learn about it once a month.
Okay, you wanna do it once a month?
Yeah.
Whatever the board prefers.
Yeah. So do you want me to read it one more time? Because I would need something drafted like this, I think, to get into the record, that this would be summer authority.
So we're not voting on it tonight because we have to have it written and drafted, correct?
Can we draft it and then vote on it at our special meeting?
I think we can. Because that's next Thursday, correct? The budget meeting is
The 13th?
the 13th. Can I put something on the table twice? I'm looking at Mr. Smedley, I'm not really sure if I can put something on
Yeah,
the
you
table.
can.
You can
I
put.
can?
Yes.
Just gotta remind us that that's the law of the table.
No, but it doesn't come off until we bring it back up at the
Right.
later meeting, or does it just stay on the
And
table?
I can't bring it up, I can't bring it off the table at a special meeting because I can't add to the agenda at a special meeting.
You can simply, Madam President, you can call the question, there can be a lack of a motion, and then the agenda item dies for tonight, and we put it back on the agenda on a later meeting.
Perfect.
I move to call the question.
You don't have to move to call the question.
Just call the question.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Call the question.
thank you. I usually have my little cheat sheet. All right. Any other business as allowed by law? Motion to adjourn?